Disney CEO Bob Iger says the company is working to improve the quality of their films by reducing both the number of titles you release and the cost per title. I'm not sure how that actually improves the quality of the films, but let's get into what he has to say here. He provided this insight into Disney's latest attempt to right their sinking box office during the company's August 9th Q3 2023 earnings calls, something he's actually said over the past number of earnings calls. But he said, in the 8 months since I returned, we've undertaken an unprecedented transformation at Disney, and this quarter's earnings reflect some of what we have accomplished. First, the company was completely restructured, restoring creativity to the center of our business. We made important management changes and efficiency improvements to create a more cost-effective, coordinated, and streamlined approach to our operations. We aggressively reduced costs across the enterprise, and we're on track to exceed our initial goal of $5.5 billion in savings. I'm pleased with how much we've gotten done in such a short period of time, but I also know we have a lot more to do. He then goes on and says, to elaborate on the state of our company and the transformative work we are still undertaking. As I said before, our progress will not always be linear, but despite near-term headwinds, I'm incredibly confident in Disney's long-term trajectory because of the work we've done, the team we have in place, and because of Disney's core intellectual property foundation. Moving forward, I believe three businesses will drive the greatest growth and value creation over the next 5 years. They are our film studios, our park businesses, and streaming, all of which are inextricably linked to our brands and franchises. I don't know about streaming. It's been an absolutely massive, massive money sink for them. They cut their nose off to spite their face when they decided to basically tell Netflix, we don't want your money, and we're putting everything on Disney Plus. Lost massive amounts of revenue from the deals that they had when they were licensing their stuff out to streaming services like Netflix instead of Disney Plus, and then they just basically had a massive money sink. It's just basically been a money black hole. They've just been throwing money after money on that. I think they did like a $2 billion write-off or something like that, because most of the stuff that they created, or a lot of the programs that they created, are worth nothing now. In terms of the company's film-related efforts, Iger revealed that across every one of their various studios, including Pixar, Lucasfilm, and the aforementioned Marvel Studios, the company's various studios were, quote, focused on improving the quality of our films and on better economics, not just reducing the number of titles we release, but also the cost per title. And we're maximizing the full impact of our titles by embracing the multiple distribution windows at our disposal, enabling consumers to access their content in multiple ways. For example, Avatar: The Way of Water, which is now the third highest grossing film of all time. Absolutely not true. Especially if you factor in inflation, he's just simply lying to try and dupe people into thinking that the quality of the films have improved. Is also on track to be the biggest ever electronic home video release for Disney domestically. Certain other titles will be sold in the download to own window as well. By focusing, I don't know if you download to own, maybe if you actually get the file and you get to keep it, but I know there's a lot of times when they do these things, they can remove it. They can remove it and remove the software that you had allegedly purchased, and you no longer have it anymore. So you got to be wary on how that's operating. But I assume if you actually download it and are able to get it on a hard drive outside of Disney's purview, then that would be acceptable. By focusing on big franchises and tentpole films, we're able to generate interest in our existing library. For example, we're seeing tremendous engagement on Disney Plus with the previous Guardians of the Galaxy films, the original Avatar, and the first 4 Indiana Jones movies. But the value of our Disney Entertainment Studios and the reason this will be a key growth business for us extends far beyond our library and new releases. It's hilarious that he mentions Indiana Jones. They've lost hundreds of millions of dollars on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and he's trying to say that, oh, well, we had X number of our Disney Plus subscribers watching it in the lead up to the release of that movie, probably because they didn't want to watch the garbage movie that you were putting out. Also, you've lost 600,000 subscribers over the past 2 quarters on Disney Plus. So you might have seen your current subscribers are going to see that stuff, but you aren't getting new subscribers. You're actually losing subscribers, albeit you did see your average subscriber revenue increase, but that's because you increased your prices. So what he's saying here doesn't add up to the other data that he provided in his report. Following a brief note that both the Disney parks and cruise lines had shown significant upticks in attendance in recent months, Iger ultimately asserted that all of this happened while we were still determining the right strategies for pricing, marketing, content, and specific international market investments. However, since my return, we've reset the whole business around economics designed to deliver significant, sustained profitability. We're prioritizing the strength of our brands and franchises. We're rationalizing the volume of content we make, what we spend, and what markets we invest in. As noted above, Iger's latest promise to scale back Disney's output echoes their previously confirmed strategy for saving the Marvel Cinematic Universe from its current death spiral. Speaking to investors during the company's Q1 2023 earnings call, Iger asserted that while Disney would be moving forward by seeking to lean more into our franchises, our core franchises, and our brands, these franchises would be undergoing a round of curation. He said we have to be better at curating the Disney and the Pixar and the Marvel and the Star Wars of it all. And of course, reduce costs on everything that we make. While we are extremely proud of what's on the screen, it's gotten to a point where it's extraordinarily expensive. We want all the quality. We want the quality on the screen, but we have to look at what they cost us. He would then reiterate the company's plan during a July interview with CNBC's David Faber. He says, is there a problem? Faber asked, is there a problem, though, at Disney Animation? Is the loss of John Lasseter years ago been a blow that you haven't been able to recover from? Iger said, well, first of all, the studio and its movie assets are number one at the global box office so far. That said, we are extremely realistic, and I'm very objective about that business. There have been some I don't know if that's still true with Barbie. I have to look. There have been some disappointments. He would then admit, obviously Barbie came out after this, though. We would have liked some of our more recent releases to have performed better. It's reflective, not a problem from a personnel perspective, but I think in our zeal, basically grow our content significantly to serve mostly our streaming offerings, we ended up taxing our people way beyond in terms of their time and their focus way beyond where they had been. He then pointed to Marvel, saying, Marvel's a great example of that. They had not been in the TV business at any significant level. Not only did they increase their movie output, but they ended up making a number of television series, and frankly, it diluted focus and attention. And I think you're seeing that is more the cause than anything else. So he's claiming that because Marvel Studios expanded into television, they lost focus on their narrative story structure, and that's why the quality of both the Marvel Studios Disney Plus TV shows declined, as well as their theatrical releases. He's saying that their narrative focus was just spread too thin and they couldn't keep it all together, and they were just doing too many things at once and not able to do that. I think that's absolutely garbage. I think you could have continued to do what you were doing and expanded on that and still created solid, entertaining propositions. You just had really bad writers that just suck, and it seems like the way you were doing television didn't seem to really work as well. You've got the director of the most recent release, Secret Invasion, admitting that he was still working on editing the subsequent episodes of the 6-episode show to create some kind of story after the first episode release. It's like, what were you even thinking there? Seemingly just like, I don't think that has anything to do with you being spread thin. That just sounds like you have really bad stories and you're cobbling things together at the last minute to try and get something out there because you didn't have a plan in the first place. Didn't have like well-written scripts, didn't have a real good vision, and you're just spitballing things thinking you could just print money because you got the Marvel name on it, similar to how you've been treating Star Wars. So I think he's kind of missing the point there, that you have really bad actual stories. People are rejecting it. Not only that, you've been insulting your fans and audiences. And then on top of that, you've also been propagandizing to them with some of the most heinous, evil things out there, lecturing people and calling them all kinds of nasty, terrible names, and expecting them to say, thank you for the spanking. I'm going to go pay money now as well after you just beat me. No thanks. Later asked by Faber if these factors would prompt him to pull back on the amount of Marvel projects being released, Iger bluntly confirmed, yes, you pull back not just to focus, but it's also part of our cost containment initiative, spending less on what we make and making less. So I don't think you're going to see any kind of change in the quality. You've got Iger on record when he came back to the company that they got to keep the woke stuff. It's not going away. We've seen some small changes at the DEI stuff. They have not removed it. Again, he promised to keep all of that stuff. They believe that inclusion is one of their key values now. This company is not going to improve. The storytelling is not going to improve. You can just look at the most recent Ahsoka series. From everything I'm seeing on that, it's absolute garbage. A lot of the story beats don't make any sense whatsoever. They clearly don't connect to things from the past that they should connect to. You've got characters fighting and have the ability to use the force, and for some reason decide not to use the force in order to make it some kind of fair fight. It's just utterly ridiculous. Doesn't make sense, and it's just insulting to viewers that they think they can churn out this crap and think people are going to continue to watch it. Well, they're not. Viewership is declining, box office returns are declining, and Disney isn't going to improve anytime soon. They're just going to be cutting costs, so it's going to be less quality on like the visuals and like the cinematography and everything like that. But the same old crap garbage stories that they've been churning out year after year and expecting people to like guzzle it down. So I think Bob Iger is full of it, and I just don't think that they're going to improve anything anytime soon.